Welcome back to News 2 at 11. Nearly 1 week ago, an EF2 tornado ripped through part of Middle Tennessee, leaving communities to pick up the pieces. Nathan Miller from Volunteer Behavioral Healthcare joins us now to talk more about how those are reeling with the aftermath. Nathan, one thing that we were just talking about is it's one thing to see the destructive nature of these systems when they come through, but also I think what people fail to recognize is the emotional impacts that these storms can actually have on folks.
And that's true. The emotional things that people go through. This is a very traumatic event. Anytime people go through traumatic events, there's always that lingering emotional piece that goes with it. At this point, they may be going through grief. They may be going through some anxiety, some depression, and possibly even some anger at at what's happened with their community and to their possessions and their homes. And the real tragedy is where we did lose the lives, and those are the more traumatic pieces of this.
Right, and so it's certainly a lot to unpack there. And Nathan, too, you mentioned one thing. It's, in these moments, you kind of want to address these issues head on, because as we were talking, you were saying that these things can actually kind of expand over time and get worse, and could, in some cases, turn into post-PTSD.
Yes. One of the things I'd like to point out, too, is, there's a really big stigma with mental health concerns. So people who go through these type of events may be experiencing some type of situational condition that's not very long lasting, and with some help they might get through it very easily. We don't want that to stop them, that stigma to stop them from getting the treatment they need, because they may be experiencing some flashbacks with this. They may be experiencing anxiety, triggers related to storms. If they hear a weather forecast that predicts any kind of similar systems as what they had the other day when this came through, it may be an issue for them. Right. They may be sensing numbness or depression, as well as irritability. So if they're experiencing something like this, and it doesn't go away in a few days, or it may take some time for that matter, but if it continues, see a counselor, see your clergyman, see somebody to get help, because untreated, these things can turn into PTSD after weeks or months or years of things, and can continue to follow people.
I think that's so important to share, because, in moments like these, you kind of go in tunnel vision. You want to clean up, pick up the pieces, figure out how you're going to repair your home and things of that nature. But there's also the emotional side that could potentially go, untouched if you're not careful. So in these moments, are there specific things that people could do to kind of even recognize if this is something that they are dealing with emotionally?
Well, and one thing that I would suggest people do to start off with is very easy. Eat well, sleep well, take care of yourself. And if you need to, at that point, see somebody professionally after those things are done. I know there's been a great interruption with a lot of people's lives, right, and that normalcy is going to be very difficult for a while, but try to stick to as much of a routine as you can for this point.
Right, I understand that completely. And Nathan, when you think about our area specifically, even the weather forecast, because this has been such an active weather season, and when you think about what's happened here in the past couple of years, this seems like it could really be an issue for some folks.
It can, and I know like I said, traumatic events do follow people, and we have had a very active weather season so far, right, and hopefully, we won't have any more systems like this, but, we have to deal with it as it comes through, and just people need to be aware of that, and be aware of themselves, and be mindful of their own feelings. It's okay to feel, because the traumatic event that they went through, the feelings they're having now is very normal, yeah, for the situation. They may have never been through this before. It's a big shock. It's a trauma to them. Yeah. So, if you're feeling some of these things, the grief, the anxiety, the depression, that you're not sleeping, that's very normal.
Right. Absolutely.
So think that, take that, and if it doesn't get better and it doesn't subside some, then seek help for that.
Yeah, this is really great information. Nathan, thank you so much for being here with us today. And if you want to take a look at the info on your screen, you can actually find those resources that we were just talking about here, with several different phone numbers that you can access if you need help during this difficult time, if you find yourself picking up the pieces after those storms came through, and obviously dealing with the emotional side of this as well. You can find this segment on our website, WKRN.com, under the Newsmaker tab.